Hello everyone, this is Ashish. Welcome back to Momentum Podcast, and we welcome back Anshuman Mehta, with whom we started Momentum Podcast episode number 1, and now it is episode somewhere around in 40s. And Anshuman is back over here. We are going to talk about a lot of things regarding a career in academia, if you say so. Anshuman, if you do not know about Anshuman, Anshuman is currently doing a Ph.D. under PMRF Program at IIT Bombay in Aerospace Engineering. He initially joined IIT Madras for MS in Aerospace Engineering, and later on converted it to Ph.D. and then converted it to PMRF. He also competed at Hyperloop at Los Angeles, California, which was organized by SpaceX. No, not really SpaceX. Hyperloop, you can say, was organized by
SpaceX only.
yeah, kind of. It is a competition where you have to display your technicalities when it comes to pod. He went over there with his entire team, performed amazing. We have talked about that in the previous podcast. This, I think, is the third time Anshuman is on Momentum Podcast, but definitely the longest interval. I think it has been around 1 year since we did the last time. Okay, so me and Anshuman both has Hindi as our mother tongue. We'll try to do our best to speak in English so that everyone around the country understands, especially because we are talking about higher studies today. But do not blame us. This is probably the first time me and Anshuman is talking in English. So every now and then we might switch to our native tongues. Anshuman, welcome to Momentum Podcast.
Hi Ashish. I think we can start our own hostel environment lecture series or something like that.
Hostel.
Podcast. Yeah.
Yeah, you should be kind of like a permanent member over here, like weekly kind of. Anshuman, we can talk about what is going on in the college life. So what is going on? You were at your home for 2 years. You joined IIT Bombay officially in the year right when I left ISRO. So it must be 2020, right? Or end of 2019.
So it was end of 2019,
Yeah.
and from January 2020 I joined here. So yeah.
Yeah, and that's where the whole lockdown started, and then you probably went back home very soon. And I think properly you are now back in the college now only. In between you were like in and out kind of, right?
So yeah, I was 21. It was 22 months. I was at home, but now I'm since I'm here now. There are a lot of responsibilities right down here because the research life is in drain for about 1 year. So everything was fine at first in the situation. What happened that I was taking my courses and I was taking courses also. So in the PMRF there is a
Online courses, right?
yeah. So we have to take courses and give courses also.
Oh yeah. Yes.
So
you have to teach and all, right? You went to our
yes.
college back to teach over there.
So yes, I went back to my BTech college and taught the kids there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what happened there that at first everything was going nice. Then my whole family was stuck with Corona. Like we all suffered from it. And then what happened that after that I got derailed from my research life, and there were lots of responsibilities because all of my family members are healthcare workers, so they are kind of Corona warriors. But I was kind of at home and taking care of them. So
warrior for warriors.
Yeah, warriors for warriors.
Okay.
So finally,
Yes.
So finally, what happened that in my 2 years of research experience, I did only 1 year's research work. So I have to cover a lot in my next 3 years. So, yeah.
I think everyone felt some loss or the other in the last couple of years when it comes to academics. The MS people, the MTech people. Some people just entered MTech and left, passed out from their MTech in the whole situation, and they never properly went to college, which is a tragedy for a lot of people. So what you properly saw IIT Bombay, right? Initial part of 2020, and now you are back
Yes.
over here in 2022. What are the changes that you see before and after?
Before it was very lively, like all the students, mostly the BTech students, they were kind of living happily here. But now I don't think there are lots of BTech students here. But yeah, you can find PhD students. So now college is all PhD life because now you will see there were no fest and everything is virtually. But
Fest is virtual.
what happens, so what happens now here is there's only PhD student and living the PhD life. They don't have any fest and any kind of any programs to go into. Just they have to sit and do the research. So thinking about that, PhDs are of very kind of very advantage here because they need a secluded life and without any other participation factor, which I hate. So so we are getting that thing.
PhDs now run the college, probably, right?
Yes.
So
no, the student task force are really working hard because they have to see through lot of people now because it's a establishment, and if some spike happens, then they have to take care of everything.
Yeah,
so
they're
they're really working hard. Yes.
Yeah. Okay, not really responsible, not the correct term, but they are taking charge. Okay, right. So let's talk about that. You were in an IIT way before any of this happened, and I participated in a lot of your fest as well back when you were in IIT Madras.
Yeah, IIT Madras.
Yeah. So what was the fest name they used to do every
Shastra and
Sarang? I think February or so they used to do it over there. So I came over there once or twice. I think enjoyed. It was a good life. The first time I came to IIT Madras and saw the life that students are living or what you were living as an MS back then. It's like a college part 2. Matter of fact, better because we were not lucky enough to get into any IIT or national level college back when we were graduating. But then during your masters, you got that opportunity. It's great. It was a lively thing. You go to the same again messes. You have hostel life. You have fests. But now, what is the situation now?
So now it's just work. You can enjoy little things, but virtually.
There were a lot of clubs, right? You remember you joined a couple of clubs, whatever you want, from photography to politics to enlightenment. There's a club for everything, right? Spirituality, everything, there's a club. But now all the clubs are like in Google Meet, right? Or Zoom.
Yeah, everything is Google Meet right now.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is the screen time. The screen time is very harsh on people.
Screen time is almost like 90% of the time your eyes are open. Screen is there. And
so if somebody want to practice something, so they will just take it away from the screen. So here all the clubs loses its interest and just think what is there is what you like and what you like when you're alone. So that is the thing.
What do you think is going to cause an impact? Like what will be the impact on the current generation of undergraduates? How will it change the next generation? Because this is a completely different thing. It's going on for 2 years, not stopping. What do you think?
See, it's becoming our new normal and the things which will come out of it will be again a new normal. So it's just an iteration of the things and we are going into a stability phase.
Okay.
And after that it will be just what we had thought. But the things will be changed and lot of things will change, like the perspective of the thing say or look at the things will be also changed. So it's like there will be a lot of new job opportunities right from these scenarios and also there will be loss of some job opportunities because of this, which is already happening.
Yeah, loss has already started. We are still waiting for the new ones. Okay.
So new ideas should be generated on that.
Yeah, depending on, because whenever there's a problem, there's always also a demand for a solution, and that's where engineers kick in, right? That's a chance for you to make $1 million. If you can solve a problem, that would be great. Okay, let's get into few questions that a lot of these people might be waiting for. Like you last time you talked about PMRF, things were completely different back then.
Yes.
You joined PMRF, couple of other of my friends also joined PMRF, but it was different. Anyone could appear and based on interview, they would be allocated either normal PhD or a PMRF. For you guys who do not know about it, PMRF stands for, is it PM Modi?
Pradhan? No.
Sorry.
But he started it. So So Prime Minister Research Fellowship.
Yeah.
So it's a kind of grant given to a PhD student.
Mm-hmm.
So normal PhD, what happens is they are paid monthly stipend as 31K and it increases to 35K in their final years. But this PMRF thing, what it gives is it starts with 70K and in the middle year it will give 75 and afterwards it will give 80. Apart from this, there are other advantages also. So first of all, I will talk that what phases of PMRF has gone through. So it started in early 2012 or 2016. Sorry, 2016 we started. So what happened after that is there was a phase when there were two entries. One was direct entry and one was lateral entry. So lateral entry is always for the student who are already pursuing PhD or are in second year or first year. Direct entry was the program where anybody could have applied. Like whoever have done their BTech from any of the good institutes such as IITs or NITs, or even there are better chance if they are from PMRF granting institutes. So there are three type of institutes here. One is PMRF granting institute and another is just IIT and IIT good college, and third, which we had done our BTech from, is our normal colleges which have some NRF ranking. So at first what happened that direct entry gives the power that anybody could apply and as a PMRF student, and they had to give an interview regarding their research proposal. So a research proposal is must in PMRF nominations.
Like an SOP, statement of purpose kind of.
Yeah, statement of purpose kind of thing. So it's / research purpose.
Yeah.
So what exactly you wanted to
in 1,000 words you have to explain your research interest.
Yes. So yeah. So what happened there is at that time they were very like new people can join, but now the system is as such that whoever have joined PhD as if in this year they can only apply. So first the decision have to be made that you are doing PhD, and then the decision come that you want to take PMRF.
So you can't get in first year, right? You have to start from second year. Okay.
Yes. No, you can get the from first year itself, but you have to be selected in one of the PhD programs. So that's the thing. Like first you have to give the decision, yeah, I am doing PhD, and then PMRF come. At first what happened that the PMRF was given to whoever done their MTech, like completed or pursuing. So there was no PhD thing. So it was just a placement offer, like 70K per month. All right.
Yeah.
But now the thing is, like many people left at that time, like after taking the seats. So that was huge, I will say, demoralizing thing for PhD students. So hence the government, I think, changed the rules, and it's now whoever is in PhD program and initial phases, they can only apply. And yeah, if they get selected based on the nominations, there is no interview as if now in this virtual world. But the thing is, now the selection is twofold. First is go through the department of college you are studying. So it should be a good college. Then only you will get PMRF. The second thing is if you have department nominates you, and it will now go to a central committee, which is this time is IIT Delhi. And there the decision will be passed that the student should get PMRF or not. So there are two stages and it takes time based on that. And the current thing is that it take the March the result will be announced, and the nomination have stopped. I think today or yesterday was the last date. So the nomination has stopped.
I'm a little bit confused. So let us say a person graduated. Okay, we can do direct PhD also these days, or let us say masters completed. All right, completed in 2021, right, somewhere around July or August. Then what is the cycle? Then that person is going to apply for PhD. Now PMRF is not in the picture now, so he is going to apply for PhD.
PhD, right?
And let us say he finally got selected in June. So that is when PhD people get selected, right? In June, June the decision will be out somewhere like that. September fall cycle will start, right?
So every semester the form come.
Okay.
So it's like December and May.
December
2019, 2020, May 2019, 2020.
So let us talk about May 1. Okay. So if someone applies for May, the decision will be given somewhere around like May April or March or something like that, right?
Yeah, so the PhD selection starts at April, and the interviews happen at that time. And when the May came, like when the May comes, then what happened that the who are selected, they know that they are going into some PhD program, so they can apply as a direct PhD.
For PMRF, right? They can apply
for PMRF.
Then how can you? Okay, it is closing for December 1. Now you are saying that PMRF.
Okay, I will just make it very clear.
Yeah.
So there are two programs. One is direct entry channel, which has rules such that in preceding 3 years, you should have either completed MTech or MS, or you would be pursuing. All right. So you started PhD. So your name is just registered in any PMRF granting institute as a PhD student. Then you can apply as a direct entry. And if you are already pursuing and you are in first year, all right, or you have completed 1 semester or 2 semester, then you can apply as literal entry. All right. So these two are major criteria, and apart from that, there are many other things such as CGPA should be above 8 or above 8.5 depending on the case, and in some cases GATE score is also required if student is not from PMRF granting institute. So at that time GATE score is also required.
Okay.
And
your research statement.
Yes.
Right.
So the thing which you have to submit is research exposure, right? What your research experiences are, then statement of purpose or research what you want to do here, then publications if you have, because many people in your MS and MTech have the publication or even conference paper. That is kind of a deciding factor, I think. And apart from that, grades, so just a proof of that you have secured the CGPA. And also a recommendation letter.
That is 100% how they do it abroad then, right?
Yeah, it's just like that.
That is what I was saying. 3 recommendations or only one?
Only one recommendation. It can be more, but one is also not necessary, because direct PhD, they don't know any professor in that college, or the professor also don't know. So it's not mandatory for them to have a recommendation letter. But what happens that the one who takes the interview, he gets a gist of a student, that how that person is. So he will write a short recommendation letter that, okay, I want this person to be nominated for PMRF.
Okay.
So that usually happens. So so in that he helps in research proposals also. So having a guide or a guru we'll call is very important in PhD. So because he will guide you and give you direction that where you want to go. He will give you perks, he will give you warnings. Okay. So that is
reference is also very important, no? Because these professors a lot of time know each other, and that professor knows exactly what area other professors are working, so he can actually recommend you in a way that you will get selected, because PhD is kind of like you are a research assistant mainly to the professors. And
yes, always PhD students are always a research assistant. So yeah, that's why I wanted to talk about something called independent researcher and dependent researcher. So PhDs are generally dependent researchers, PhD project staff, and MS even, or MTech who are taking projects. So they are all dependent researchers. Like, yeah, they come up with the problem, like they have the problem, or they design the problem, or they have explored the problem, like I wanted to do this. But how to reach there, the guide helps, and hence they become a dependent researcher. Independent researchers are who can make the methodology where you wanted to go, what will be more good, or what we have to explore. So there it's an independent researcher. Yeah.
Also, most of the time people do not understand that your choice of project that you want to work in most of the time does not really matter. You will have to ultimately work in the project that a professor is working in. That you can work, like find a professor who is really working in that domain. That's the best that you can do, right?
Yes. So giving a scenario, like what happened in my BTech when we were doing our final year project, right? So I took this problem that I want to simulate the wingtip vortices. So like a wing having a low pressure, a high pressure like below and low pressure above. So the kind of wind is curled up, and at the tip it curls up like this.
Correct.
So hence the wingtip vortices happen. So I wanted to simulate this, and I wanted to visualize because it looks very nice, but it looks nice, and just to simulate that without going to the physics of it, what happens, what we can generate, how we can optimize or something like that. I just wanted to simulate. So that was my personal interest. So all the students have their personal interest when they go into research.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you have to get some applicability of it, because if you are not getting something out of it, then after some time the interest loses, and you go back to being like you wanted to explore more then, right? So when you have an aim in mind that you wanted to do this and it has some applicability into some direction, so then the problem become very important, and then you work into it, and it will give you a constant motivation.
So what is a structured path? Earlier, getting into PhD was like you're going to appear for GATE examination, and then you're going to appear for interviews. That is what used to happen.
Yes.
Earlier, there was no research statement, I think. There were in some colleges there were, right?
Yes, in some colleges there were.
But GATE was necessary. Is GATE still necessary, or it is optional now?
GATE is still necessary, and even the interview also happens right now.
Okay.
So there is a virtual interview.
So interview is must. That happens in all cases, which is good actually.
In all cases, yes.
All right.
Because at that time the professor kind of get the what the student is, and he will be able to work on the what field, and also the choosing of guide also happen in that time only. Like when the person is interviewing you, he will ask you some question which he will be interested in. So hence it will give the idea to the professor as well as the student that what area to pursue.
Yeah. So these interviews, are they like technical a lot of times?
Yes, they are always technical. And PhD interviews are always technical. We don't have any HR schemes or something.
No, they are definitely not HRs, but what happens very rarely interview happens when you want to go for PhD abroad, right? Which is why I appreciate that they are taking interviews for every student over here. But even when they take interviews, they just kind of try to find out your interest and what is your motivation, like that. They don't really get that technical, that okay, what did you do in that wingtip vortices and what was the result, and that you have already written in research statement, or they have gone through it. But here you are saying that it goes technical, right? How long do you think most of this averagely takes? Like 20 minutes? Half an hour?
Yeah, 20 to 45 minutes. If it goes well, it goes to 45 minutes. And if it doesn't go well, it will end in 15 minutes or so.
Yeah, so you don't have to worry at all about anything else other than your technical skills. Or you can also say your expertise in research or interest in research at least, right? Because that is what
they're looking for. It's just we have to withhold the interviewers into the area which you are comfortable with. Just that. If you take them into the depth of it, then you increase your time, and that's where you crack your interviews.
Yeah. Don't you think people underestimate PhDs a lot in this country, at least? Because people don't really want to get into PhDs, right? But I do not know why.
The thing is, the first decision is to be made if you want to do PhD or not. And to answer that, the question comes that what is PhD and what do we gain from it? So as a normal job, as a corporate job, you know that money is coming. In PhD, apart from the extreme cases, the money is not coming. Okay. The second is you wanted to achieve something. All right. So in that PhD is like after doing PhD, you have achieved something. Okay. So it's a milestone. But what after that? What is after that milestone? That is the major question always. Like what is the life after PhD? So if someone is thinking the placement will be there and you will get placed in nice college because nice kind of corporate environment. So it's not. Now you have specialized into something. You have given 5 years into something. Now nobody will take you as such. Like if in extreme cases they take because of the financial instability or something. But generally they don't take PhD student if it's not research domain. So generally we are sent into research domain because we have already researched on something. Alright. So the thing is that if you go into PhD, there is huge thing which you have to first think about, that what do you want to do as a PhD. So the question comes that why to do PhD, and for that the question comes, what is PhD and what do we gain after that. So it's not a corporate job, and it's not like that you will do 9 to 5 job, or you will devote the fixed amount per day and you will get results and you will show it to a supervisor, and monthly you are getting your money. So it's not like that. So monthly you are getting money, but it's not enough if it's a normal PhD. And if you are going into some domain and that is very research rich domain, then only the PhD is very tending towards the corporate. If it's not, then you will be ending in PhD after where the opportunities are very less. So the point being that if your project area or the thing you are working on doesn't have any more applicability, then it has very less future after PhD. So hence, to handle that, first whatever you are taking as a research proposal, you see what are the advantages of it and what we can achieve from it. One way is the understanding of the subject, because you will get to learn many new softwares and you will have a lot of methodology methods.
It's also a very practical learning, right? You're solving problems through which
how to solve problem. That is what is PhD. And so one aspect is that you are learning, and you can do any research after that point if you have interest in it. The second is, if you have a area which has a lot of application to it, alright, so which all the professors are working on, and they have ties with all the corporates and even the government agencies. So there the main crux happens, like where all the things combine and you can make a new feature out of it. So I am talking about if you are doing something and helping ISRO, let's say you are helping ISRO and some minor project, or you are just solving what kind of those problems. So after your PhD, you have some experience working as a ISRO. All right.
Yeah. So a lot of these government organizations like ISRO, DRDO, BRC, they will outsource a lot of their projects to top faculties of professors of these top institutes, and then obviously under them you are working. So a lot of those projects you get like in-hand experience with that, right?
Yeah. So practically speaking, that these topics are of high interest in PhD, and after then comes your basic what you wanted to do in PhD, right? So I'm talking about this because at first my PhD understanding was low. As such, I wanted to achieve which I want, alright, because I wanted to achieve, because I am giving 5 years into it. So it's something which I want. But going into and watching and observing things, then I got to know that okay, for 5 years I can do what I want, but what after that 5 years? So I have to conform to the environment which currently in India is.
Yeah. So the projects itself depends on the funding, right? So whoever is giving you funding, that is what you'll have to work on. For example, if you really want to work on propulsion, right, and you say that I want to work on semi-cryo propulsion, where in which university that work is actually going on, it is very rare. You'll have to find that, and if you don't have, let us say there's no university working on that, then you are not going to be working on that during your PhD.
It's very costly.
It's as simple as that, right? For example, I want to work on nuclear propulsion. Not only in India, throughout the world, it is very difficult to find who is working on that. And then if that clashes and you work, then only that works. And that is why PhDs should be, or people who are pursuing a doctorate study should be ready to work in a lot of generalized domain. For example, for mechanical engineers, fluids domain is almost in every university. You go almost in every university, someone or the other is working on turbulence.
Fluid and thermal. Yes.
Yeah, thermal also same. And non-Newtonian flows. So these are area of research that is going on right now. Like that you can find in every other stream. But my main question was, Anshuman, I know you since 2012, 2013, right? And you know me since then as well. We are both research oriented. We have always been like that, right? But throughout our college, did we ever imagine or think that we are going to ever pursue PhD? That was never our goal, don't you think?
No. After third year, like before third year, it wasn't my goal. Yeah.
Yeah, but after that also, we were mostly inclined towards getting a job. It would be good if we get a
Yes,
research-oriented job.
the fourth year is always the year where every BTech student once think about getting a job and getting settled in life.
Yeah.
But yeah, coming out of it is like, what do you want actually in your life? Alright?
Yeah, but
So
but
which
then
is the
again,
question.
you think about that. If people like you and me, like we have published research paper during our undergraduation itself,
Yes.
right? If people like you and me do not give proper weightage to a career with PhD or in academia, then who else will, right? I think there's a very less amount of awareness, especially in Indian society, that we can really focus on, that we never pay attention towards that. One mentality I completely agree. Well, the amount of money that PhD scholars get, it is way too less for generally what they are getting. PMRF is very decent, but if you look at US colleges, they get somewhere close to $30,000, which turns out to be somewhere around like 3,000, close to that per month, which is a huge amount, right?
It's huge.
And over here we are getting like 30,000 rupees, right? So
Yes.
it's a difference, and that is not sufficient, man. Listen, when you're 28, 29 and you're getting 30,000, well, a lot of people are having jobs with that much amount as well, but at least they are growing. And after 5 years, you're out of PhD. And then again, your career is unstable. Now, postdoc does pay very decently, right? And you can
So
go...
it's 70, 60, 70, right?
Yeah, and if you go abroad, that is even many folds more,
Yeah, then
right?
it's
And
good.
anyone who does their PhD in India as well has a very viable option abroad as well. But what after that? Then people do another postdoc and then they go for, let us say, a post for professor, something like that. Or if they get absorbed in industry, they can work over there as
Yes.
well. That is also an option. If you're good, nobody will be able to stop you. There's absolutely no doubt. You have an invaluable skill level which you're not going to find anywhere else.
And you do things which you like.
Yeah, and you do things which you like. So I think problem number one is that struggle with the money, which we can't really do much about, at least in this country what we are having right now. And obviously everything changes with time. Over time we saw that, okay, PMRF comes, like it came somewhere in 2018 and it was
16,
a great news.
yeah.
But still the number of people who get that is very low. And the second would be that it is a path of constant growth. You'll have to keep on growing, and people don't really want to grow. They don't want to grow beyond their BTech as well. कि अब तो बहुत पढ़ लिया. At the age of 22, अब तो बहुत पढ़ लिया. तो फिर कहाँ से होगा फिर PhD? Correct. So that growth is required. People go for MS. There you have to constantly study. There you have to get into project in your final year. Then you have to go for PhD, and PhD 1 year again, maybe there's a coursework, and then 4 years of research. After that, you have to constantly keep on learning. So this does not always happen. For example, let us say you got a government job. It is the level of learning is just not comparable in the two, or the level of growth that is necessary. Like this field makes it a compulsory that you have to learn. Other ones, like it depends on you, how much you grow, or if you want to get settled down. So these might be the reason why people are not looking at. PhD is not for everyone, and I think that you have said this before as well. But those people for whom it is, they are also not paying sufficient attention. So you tell me who are eligible, who are good candidates of PhD, or who should really pursue PhD if someone who is undergraduate is listening to this.
Okay. So first of all, yeah, the growth factor, which I was not mentioning before. Yes, so the growth is the most requirement, which the person wanted to grow. Like at every stage, he wanted to come out of his comfort zone and do something better. For initially, if it's curved down, all right, but after it wanted to reach a peak. So if it's a constant growth, just in the corporate job, so it's like this. And if they wanted to peak, then they have to come like this.
Exponentially.
So yeah, so this coming down is PhD, what I will say.
Okay.
So in India.
Oh, all right. You're talking about something
Yeah.
else. Like first it is a little bit sloped down and then it rises.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to go up, like much higher than what corporate job is giving you,
Yeah.
Under normal circumstances, then you have to do or gain more degrees as a higher studies, and then you are ready to go up to the top peak. So for the undergraduates, I will just say that first of all, think about where you are going, okay? Because in the recent times, it's the people are not giving proper thought into it. They are grabbing what they like see. They are grabbing it. So first, think about it. What you like and what would you do after 15 to 20 years? See, it will be a very vague approximation that what you will do after 15 or 20 years, but it will give you an aim that at that time you will be happy because you have been to your 2 or 3 years of your undergraduate program, and you know things that which direction will be good. See, the opportunities are getting thinner by thinner, but because we are getting more into numbers, so hence this time I will just say that if you are going to research, make a proper mindset before going to research, because I will say that it's a slope down at first, and after that it will be getting slope up depending on the case. Alright?
Yeah.
So
like obviously your interest is must. You should have tremendous amount of passion. If you have all those, you should never worry about it because you'll enjoy whatever you're doing, right? Yeah.
So I will just give you example of a computational. So a student who's good in coding, and at the age of 14, 15, he has coded a lot of things, and at age of 18 or something, he had kind of designed 1 or 3 apps. All right. So those students, if they have a proper nurture or growth, and he goes into PhD into CS department, all right. So he will learn new things, and which will be helpful for him to achieve its peak. But the time which he will spend in PhD 5 years, he can learn it somewhere else also. All right. Like if he's kind of constantly growing. All right. So then it won't be a problem. So I don't think he have to do PhD into it, because PhD is you're learning something from the basic. So you have already have you have already know how to grow. Then you don't have to do PhD. But if you wanted to achieve something and grow something, then only the PhD is required.
Don't you think that a PhD will give a very structured method of growing further, or a good environment, good set of labs, things like that? Not only talking about computer science engineering, but in all the other fields as well. It will give
a good person as a guide is the must for PhD.
So a lot of people might have good experience, like good knowledge, but if you are like a self-taught person, then it is very kind of vague. You can see this in every field. It is very unstructured. But getting into some academics might give a good set of structure. Like you can learn a lot about rocket science from YouTube, right? And I learned a lot also. But when I got into ISRO, I got a set of path that, okay, this is what you have to do. This is how things work, from people who are more experienced, right? So that also helps.
One is a natural talent that you perceive things and you apply things. The second is you learn how to perceive things and apply things. Okay, so that's what you should learn in college. I will say that how to perceive things and apply things.
If you learned already in your BTech as well, that is fine as well, right? So PhD is not a must, right? So if you have a direction and everything is going good and you are self-motivated, then I think that you can do everything on your own as well.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like it's not compulsory to do PhD because it gives a sense of belongingness. Okay, for me, when I joined, like one of the reasons to get into PhD that I will get a doctor after my name. So,
because all your family members are doctors.
so that gave me another satisfaction that will be there. So, but the PhD is not about that. PhD is about you have interest in some field and you wanted to explore it. So it's mainly upon that. All right. If it is a applicability on it, it's very bonus thing.
Yes.
You have. All right. So because it will give a lot of futures direction, and in which the thing is you can go into pitch such high that there will be no one beneath you. All right. There is a huge gap. All right, because you have given 5 years into some subject, and you have learned and demonstrated many things there, so which others would have not.
Yes.
All right. So here comes the team playing, like the labs and those things. Now they are team players into it. So once a lab is very popular, then all the students get popular, or kind of they are into that environment. So here the lab comes, and the person who is in charge of the lab, the guides, they come to play.
Yeah. Who is PhD actually made for, or who should pursue PhD? Well, it gives you definitely good set of connection. It gives a good trajectory to your career, gives you a structured information. If you're looking for that, and if you're looking for guidance, then it is a good pathway. But unfortunately, at least in this country, what happens, most of the people who don't have another options go for PhDs, right? That happens a lot. You must be seeing a lot of those, right?
Yes.
In the past,
there is a lot of frustration at the final years, because they actually don't want to do anything in that field, and many lost interest and kind of they have quit in the recent time also. So after that, because then you are a quitter. After some time spending 2-3 years, then you are a quitter. Or kind of, I am also a quitter because after there was a thought in me that why I am doing this PhD. Like it always come to a PhD student that why I am doing this, and after, like, you have an aim and you have everything, like you have constant motivation also and all the backing up, then also you will get this thought that why I'm doing this, man. Like I can do much nicer thing. Alright. So here the perseverance come that why you wanted to do at the first place. Alright. So what you wanted to achieve. Alright. So hence the PhD, the final thing is the difference. Alright. Or summation of thesis, because that will be done. Before that is the defense. In defense, what happens that you are putting something new into the world.
Alright guys, Anshuman is having a little bit battery issues. You don't want those interruptions. You donate something to Anshuman, maybe a new camera or something. Anshuman, which camera do you want?
No, I'm getting enough PMRF fund.
Anshuman was just discussing how he's going to invest his 4 lakhs of PMRF fund.
So apart from the PMRF, what you get stipend, you also get 2 lakh per year to spend it into laptops or the things which are useful in research. So last year I bought iPad, and this year I'm thinking of buying a MacBook Pro.
For computational powers.
So the third year will be starting. For computational, obviously for computational thing.
So what softwares do you need to run?
MATLAB.
For your book? MATLAB. MATLAB really consumes that much computational power.
Yeah, it depends on the program what you wanted to give. And also I wanted to run Mathematica into it, so which is more computationally expensive.
Okay. Anshuman has drifted away from modeling these days. Now his work is...
Yeah, I'm not into modeling now. Like already many have seen my models. So.
Okay. Alright, so why don't you explain about your research work, research topic? Maybe it will give an idea to those people who are looking forward to this career.
Okay. So my research journey, it started from my paper planes. I have already talked about them, like the paper plane which comes back. So it's a boomerang plane.
Yes. Yeah.
So how I invented those and kind of invented those. So
you should file a patent then. Otherwise someone will take it away. And then you'll have to pay for it.
No, I saw a lot of YouTube videos. They are more complex planes such as that, which will give us same path every time. Mine is just a simple, but it was the age of I will say 13, 14. So that was a huge accomplishment. So it's like what you said, the young coder achievement, like something like that. So crack the code. So from there, I am now doing work in parametric resonance. So the parametric vibrations. So what happens, like in a the thing which are periodically moving. Alright? So if there is a source of vibration into it, then it's called parametric vibrations. Like a system is there and the another system which is vibrating is a part of it.
External
so it becomes
induced.
external. So there are external vibration, self vibration, and parametrically excited system. So my work is generally now in parametric excited system. So I always kind of relate my topics to the fiction. Alright. So in fiction, I will say that the new movie came like Matrix 4 if you had watched it. So they are sentinels like which are good good robots. So they use this parametric vibration, and when the topic came there, I was like, "Ooh, this is my topic. I'm working into it." So it's just like that. Like if there is a vibrating system and something we can vibrate, and what is the kind of effect into other things. So that is the thing. So here nonlinearity come into play, and the periodicity come into play. So there are two things: nonlinearity and periodicity. So I work into these. I mix and match things, and now I analyze things. Not do the modeling. Modeling part is done. Already models are made, and I'm now into analyzing things.
So what do you mean by nonlinearity?
So nonlinearity is, let's see, going into philosophical, nonlinearity means a lot of things.
No,
right?
not talking about philosophy here.
Okay, nice.
Even though if it is, what is, a lot of people don't even know the full form of PhD.
Oh, PhD, मुझको भी नहीं पता भाई.
अरे, I found out about it like close to 2019. Before that, I did not know. Please explain.
See, there are a lot of full form of PhD. All right, like they are similar degrees. All right. So major is philosophy of something. Like you are a philosopher now.
Yes,
right?
yes.
And
that is
you
what I was
can
getting at.
talk about things in a philosophical way. And the person who is doing PhD gets into this domain also, the philosophy. So talking about the philosophical world, like all the things are linear and everything.
You are the full right.
Yeah.
Doctor of philosophy. Okay,
yeah.
Go ahead, but don't talk about philosophy. Talk
okay, I'm not talking
technicalities.
about. So technically, nonlinearity is see thing. Whatever you are designing is, or you are approximating things. All right, the initial approximation that the substance is homogeneous, isotropic, and those things. So you are making it linear. Like you are approximating in a linear domain. For such that you are doing some finite element thing, and you are describing the domain. So you are describing the whole thing into some smaller parts, and now you are looking at those smaller parts linearly. Alright. So their matrix come, like the matrices are there, and it's a linear algebra. It's a linear algebra. So that comes. Hence, that is linearity. And now whatever is apart from it, like if you take a non-homogeneous substance or is non-isotropic, then the thing becomes nonlinearity or the non-linear thing. So the major world is all non-linear, alright? But the thing is, we analyze in a way where we look at a local part and we look at as a linear thing. And when we combine a lot of linear thing, we get a whole structure which we get in our CFD and FEA. So it's all part of it, like the discretization, alright? So my work is in space-time discretization. So I am describing the space as well as time. So it looks very nice.
What do you mean like discretizing?
Discretizing mean breaking into smaller parts.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you analyze anything,
separating,
let's say,
kind of, is it?
Yeah, you have analyzed this. Yeah. So you will just divide it into smaller, dissect it. And now you will look at those dissected things. Yeah. So in our BTech courses, there are a lot of derivation into it. Alright? And all derivation start with discretization. Right? The integral and the small element. So that small element is what we are linearizing things. Alright? So whatever we are linearizing thing, and then we're putting into like lot of linear, we are kind of assembling it, and then we are solving it globally. Alright, like what is the solution? So my work generally, I am making use of the periodicity. Alright, so many things are periodic in nature, and in time, if it's periodic, then it's called temporal periodicity, and if it's space also, it can be periodic, then it's called spatial periodicity.
Spatial. Okay.
Yeah. So I work into temporal periodicity where something repeats in time, and for example, a helicopter blade. So after one revolution, it will come to the same place. All right.
Yeah.
So it's become a one cycle.
Yeah.
So instead of solving for all the cycles, just solve for one cycle. All right. So my area is such that I am using that periodicity and kind of faster analyzing the things. All right. So these are some.
So everyone says that PhD is about solving problems, practical problems. So if you can explain it to a kid practically, so what is a practical problem that it is going to solve, which is not solved yet?
So there are many social problems. All right. So here comes the major engineering part. All right. So engineering, what they do is they solve social problems. So the social problem can be anything, and it could be environment related or any tools and whatever technology is already made. All right. Or it can be the things which could be into the more physical aspect, like the physics aspect. So where what happens that we try to find the nature of the things. All right. Or it could be more into what happens when we mix two things, the chemistry thing. So whatever the basic sciences are, I will say the ends, where those ends are, that are the research problem. It's kind of our domain, because we have to improve those nodes to other points, or we have to connect the nodes into two others. So there are many things into it. So it's just like a tree, all right. So and the tree leaves, the tip of the leaves are where you are as a PhD student. Okay, you are kind of taking that tree and growing it into more area.
Okay.
Yeah. So I will just say that the PhD is just being that node, and it's doing something where you are giving something new to think. Yeah, I was talking about the defense program. So what happened that when the defense happens, like you are defending your PhD, so you give something new to the world, and the world will be defending it. Like a world will be kind of criticizing it, and you have to defend it. Yeah. So you are defending something which you are giving to the world. It may be correct, it may be wrong, all right, because there are many previous things where you have the one person who had already proved it right had again proved it wrong. Okay.
Yes.
So this happens in research. That's the thing. So there are two type of research, I will say. One is engineering research, and one is going into the knowing of the nature of the thing. So going into more. So that is more costly, because the thing is the theoretical physics have already get past a lot of things, and practical physics is still underway.
Theoretical physics is talking about parallel universe, right?
Parallel universe, wormhole, all the fiction item, or I will say that fiction and science here. It's just the coin faces of two coins. Like one we see fiction and another see science, and there is also philosophy into it. Okay.
Yeah. So I completely understand that it is extremely difficult to explain your research, what you have been working on for the last, let us say, 2 years. To a person who is like very novice, but that is what we are trying to do over here. Like kids who might be looking for a career over here, or anyone who thinks that research might be a good. So can you really answer these two questions, that what is your outcome and why do you think the solution does not exist yet for your project?
Okay. See, there are things which are known to us. All right. And that are also known because of some theorem or something is given that to prove that. All right. So coming into the loops, like if you are proving A equal to B, then you have to prove B equal to A. All right. Or you can prove A minus B equal to 0. All right. So there are three areas by which you can prove all three sentences. All right. So research is also something like that. So if you are going into a loop, like proving something, all right, by already proven things, okay, which is called a research paper, where you send thing where you are proving something and by already proven thing. So you are putting the references paper into it. So that is research paper. And so this is what research is for now. And there is also the another coming out of that loop. So coming out of the loop means you are proving more things which have already not in loop. Alright. The thing is like the branches. I will say the branches and the leaves. So those leaves, extending those leaves is that coming out of the loop. Like you are expanding your area where you are working, or you are inside only. You are making some improvements. Alright. So there are two type of research into that.
Okay. See, it's just kind of the end, but I want to ask this question. Because you have been doing research for a long time, something or the other you have always been doing, right? I had a very short history of research, but even in that, when I looked at a problem and tried to solve it, I found something new that I was not expecting, right? So I was completely not expecting that, and it happened, and it increased the learning. Does that happen a lot, or does that always happen? What will you say in any research?
See, always a PhD problem, or I will say that whatever MS, any research degree you are doing, it's always divided into small battles. There is not like that after your PhD you have won the war. That war will be won by the small battles. Alright? And the small battles are the kind of the discretion of your methods. Like you have achieved this, now this direction to go. Then you have achieved this. So achieving of these things are the small battles, and those are the eureka moments which you are talking about. Like you find something new, and that is the thing you have already expected it, but you have found it, and it doesn't matter that somebody else had done that work. You had done that work, and now you can build upon that. So when these small battles are won, then the final, it will be already won. Like you won't be taking any more kind of
your career is not dependent on someone else's decision.
Yes.
You have done your work, right?
You have done your work. So the winning of the small battles is what you are saying, that the new thing comes. So that is the thing.
And to a lot of people, I'm sure Anshuman is included in them, this is what drives them. The things that you were not expecting as much, but these are like what you can call discoveries. These can be micro discoveries that can satisfy you, or it can be macro discoveries that can change the world. You never know. And with that, we are going to end this episode of Momentum Podcast. Anshuman, thank you for being over here. Surprisingly, we did the entire podcast in English. I did not expect that. So before starting this podcast, I was thinking that we are going to talk in Hindi because that's how we have always done. Anshuman thought that no, let's think about English as well. And I thought that it can actually help a huge population. I don't think that anyone who is thinking of doing PhD will be very uncomfortable in English, because they are like higher education, most of the colleges. It's even safe to say all the colleges have their courses in English, right? Okay. How was the experience, Anshuman? Happy you were able to explain?
So coming out of my cocoon after 22 months, this was the first social interaction, I will say.
You should do more. Like, how did you get, like, you have 3,000 or something following on Instagram. You're huge.
Yes. Yeah.
For a PhD student, you're
for
huge.
some time I haven't posted anything also.
For a person who does not do lip sync and makes TikToks, that is a big following, man. 3,000. Why don't you go live every now and then? You can talk to your followers. They must be looking for answers, right?
Okay, first I have to improve myself into my research. When I get into when I get to that level where I can pursue other things, then only I will start uploading and things and
makes sense.
Kind of interacting with others. For now, I have to look at myself because these years have been hard. So for everyone, and it's now I'm in institute, so now the things can be mended and
yes, makes sense. You have to make up what you have lost for, and it is going to be a little bit difficult, but I'm sure that you're going to make it, Anshuman. Okay. That's about it, guys. Thank you for joining us. Momentum is a weekly podcast on careers. We are going to end it over here. See you next week. Till then, bye. Say bye, Anshuman, to your audience.
Bye.
Alright, see you next time. Chalo, Anshuman. कैसा रहा?
सही रहा भाई.
बढ़िया. जल्दी हो गया.
बिल्कुल. हाँ.
एक घंटे में वाइंड अप कर दिया, लेकिन बस वही है कि